Hello, if you've been following my channel for a while, then you saw me do this August 2020 Smart Art box somewhere near the beginning of August, give or take. And I did do a project in that video, and that'll be linked up above and in the description box below. However, I did not get to the prompts. So this video is all about creating a project, incorporating those 4 prompts, and it should be really fun. I'm very excited to do that. And I know this video comes out September 1st, but these were posted on Instagram in time for the Peacock Points Rewards Challenge. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. I cannot find the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen anywhere. I've gone through my whole art room, torn everything apart, dumped this entire bag of liners out. It's not there. So I guess I'm going to have to do without it, except I found one that maybe could be similar because the description says that it's a firm yet flexible brush tip, which this one also has. So I will just use this one and be kind of bummed out that I have lost a perfectly good pen. Oh well. I started out this little journey drawing a dragon. Sketching a dragon, drawing a dragon, same difference. Anyway, he's supposed to be a little border piece over there on the right. And remember, in this I'm incorporating all 4 prompts. One of them is obviously dragon, crane, bamboo, and cherry blossom. So my big brilliant idea was to make the dragon on the right be a kind of a right side border for this whole little piece, and the bamboo on the left to be the left hand border for this piece. But I kind of make a mistake later and put I make the bamboo too tall is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I should have left some space at the bottom and the top, and it would have evened out the dragon and the bamboo a little bit better. So it's a little bit unfortunate that, I don't know, lost my own mind. I got carried away with the bamboo. You'll see it. It's my favorite part of this whole piece here when I get to it. Actually turned out pretty cool. Alright, so enough talking about stuff that's not even on the screen yet. Geesh. This paint was very interesting to work with. I went on too light every time, and then I used too much water most of the time. So you can see I sketched in that little building, and I have to go over it again because it kind of just fades into nothing. And same with every piece of this, it just kind of fades away. And I knew that the ink faded a lot, but I was also being really careful because I didn't want to overdo it with the dark colors because I wanted to tint these with the markers that came in the set. So here you can see I'm doing the bamboo, which was really fun. I love bamboo. It just is such a cool structure. One of the biggest challenges I faced, I think, with this whole process was getting used to the brushes and how much liquid they would just suck in. So I'd wash them, and the instructions did say, you know, blot them out with paper towels and stuff like that. But anyway, I washed them and they just soak up all that water. So here I think I'm getting water out, and then I dip it in to the ink, and then it just sucks up the ink kind of like a person sucking through a straw. It just is intense. So you'll see in a couple of places when I do the live time without speeding it up that I dip into the little dots that are on the sides of the little wells. And here you can see I did get, I don't know, it's probably cheating, but I got out my rubbing alcohol. It's a 91 or 97% rubbing alcohol because these are alcohol markers and you can't dilute them with water. So interesting combination for Chinese brush painting because it's supposed to be water-based, I believe, but that's okay. I really wanted these markers, so I'm glad to have them. But I dilute them with alcohol and use a brush because that petrol blue on its own would be really intense. You could see that from the swatch sheet in the beginning. And then I go right on to the bamboo with the marker because my dragon is just way too vibrant. Like, I wish I would have diluted my dragon with alcohol first and use the brush to put that red on. But part of my thing is when I have markers, I want to use them as markers. I don't want to wipe them on a palette and dilute them and use them with a brush. You have a marker for a reason, and I know that's just my own hang up. I've mentioned that in other videos, but I gave in this time because the colors are just too vibrant for the piece. So let's talk a little bit about Chinese painting. Here I have a little article from Wikipedia. It says Chinese painting is one of the oldest continuous artistic traditions in the world. Painting in the traditional style is known today in Chinese as guahua. I have no idea how to pronounce that, so that's probably wrong, meaning national or native painting as opposed to Western styles of art which became popular in China in the 20th century. Traditional painting involves essentially the same techniques as calligraphy and is done with a brush dipped in black ink or colored pigments. Oils are not used. As with calligraphy, the most popular materials on which paintings are made are paper and silk. The finished work can be mounted on scrolls, such as hanging scrolls or hand scrolls. Traditional painting can also be done on album sheets, walls, lacquerware, folding screens, and other media. There are two main techniques in Chinese painting, gongbi and ink and wash painting. Gongbi uses meticulous, highly detailed brushstrokes that delimit details very precisely. It is often highly colored and usually depicts figural or narrative subjects. It is often practiced by artists working for the royal court or in independent workshops. Ink and wash painting, in Chinese shui mo, probably said that one wrong too, which means water and ink, also loosely termed watercolor or brush painting, and also known as literati painting, as it was one of the 4 arts of the Chinese scholar official class. In theory, this was an art practiced by gentlemen, a distinction that begins to be made in writings on art from the Song dynasty, though in fact the careers of leading exponents could benefit considerably. This style is also referred to as zai, or freehand style. Landscape painting was regarded as the highest form of Chinese painting and generally still is. The time from the 5 dynasties period to the Northern Song period, 907 to 1127, is known as the Great Age of Chinese landscape. In the north, artists such as Jing Hao, Li Chang, Fan Quan, and Guo Zi painted pictures of towering mountains using strong black lines, ink wash, and sharp dotted brush strokes to suggest rough stone. In the south, Dong Wan, Juran, and other artists painted the rolling hills and rivers of their native countryside and peaceful scenes done with softer, rubbed brushwork. These two kinds of scenes and techniques became the classical styles of Chinese landscape painting. Alright, now that we have a little bit of history, which is always kind of interesting, I think, in videos like this, to get some background on what the heck you're doing. Anyway, I was hoping, I guess, I keep doing these halting sentences, so what I'm trying to say is in my head, I had a certain way this was going to turn out, and I wanted it to be loose, flowy brushstrokes with the ink and like just the right proportions and all of this stuff, but the brushes were new to me and the paper was new to me, and it was all just an interesting combination because the paper just soaks things up. So I knew from the swatch sheet that the colors would fade. We've already talked about that. I knew that the markers were pretty vibrant on it. However, I still thought that like I could come together and pull it all together in a piece that would still look pretty nice and expressive and bold in its brushstrokes, but it just didn't happen. It seems like every time I put a bold brushstroke on, it was either too much or there was too much water in it and it just kind of faded away. And if I dipped into the inkwell again and my little side palette, it just soaked up so much ink, and so then I was afraid to use that because there would be so much ink. So anyway, I should probably practice more on this, and I did have a lot of the color from this bleed through down to the desk, and I haven't taken alcohol and tried to pull it off. It wasn't a huge deal, but it did bleed through, and using the rubbing alcohol as a diluter went through the desk too, but luckily the desktop could handle that. So keep that in mind. And then here you see I'm trying to balance the massive brightness of that dragon over there by putting in some of these bamboo leaves. I guess they're bamboo leaves. I see them associated with bamboo in all the reference pictures, so I guess they're bamboo leaves. Does anyone know? Let me know. Well, it wasn't really until I was all done with this that I realized later, again, kind of looks weird right there, and you know, somebody just looking at this time, you guys know, because I told you in the beginning, but somebody just looking at this would be like, what's the dragon doing? Is that dragon like real and live in this scene? Is that why the cranes are running away from it? Or, you know, the dragon just kind of seems out of place. So I wish that I would have done that whole border idea and expressed a little bit differently. So you're hearing a lot of video about what I how I wish it would have ended up, but all in all, it's okay. I've had an interesting time with it. I was super excited to try this out and use these products on this paper. I love trying things that are new and seeing how they work, and trying ink on this again would be really fun. Even with these brushes, give some more practice, and maybe even try my other regular brushes that I'm used to and see what happens with this paper and see what else this paper can do. So there's a lot of things I have the supplies now to do that. Alright, now I think it's done. Anyway, didn't quite turn out like I wanted. There's some parts that did. This light blue in the background is awesome. I like the bamboo, and the cranes are okay. Just too much dark red on the dragon, so I went ahead and put the dark red over here in the bamboo to kind of balance it, but then little blossoms look too light. So anyway, the bleeding on this paper is intense, and the products are kind of hard to work with. So I think we did okay considering the products. Anyway, I'm kind of distracted. Distracted by my own art piece, that is. All 4 prompts, 1 piece. It's just not quite what I was hoping for, but at the same time, like, these were hard to work with, but fascinating at the same time. So I may try these fancy brushes with some watercolor paints. They soak up a ton of liquid though, so I have to be careful. And I don't know. Carrie Woodhouse, are these the brushes you use? I see her using brushes that look like this all the time with her watercolors. So if you're watching, Carrie, tell me down below, are these the brushes you use? Because you make them look amazing. And I guess that's it for this one. I'm glad you stayed around to the end to enjoy this. And we'll see you in the next video. Hello, YouTube. Hello. I had this so good in my head. What happened? If you have been following my channel. Hello, if you have been following. Didn't even look at my eyebrows. Did I brush my hair? I don't know, but I pulled it back. Okay. Let's see. If I'm over here, this needs to go over here. Okay. Whoop. So I'll link that for you. Shoot. But I didn't do the prompts that are on this paper. Okay, great. Where are the prompts? Hi.